Browns. Do you do that? I don't know, but to me, that's how you do it.
Yeah, J-Rock. Another thing, too, is it wasn't 6 months ago that you and I were having a whole segment on Ken Whisenhunt, and I liked him as coach. I thought he'd be a good match here in Cleveland, and I feel bad for him being 1-3. I don't know what's going on there, but on paper, you gotta like the talent that Cleveland has, over Tennessee. I mean, on paper, you gotta like the personnel better than what Whisenhunt has in Tennessee. Let's get into Dawg Bone number 2. Dawg Bone number 2. I've done some research here on Locker. Tried to watch a lot of PBR on him, and Dawg Bone number 2 is bait Locker. It sounds like, as of today, it looks like he's starting on Sunday. Now, when I wrote the article, I was wishy-washy between Locker and Whitehurst, but there's no reason to be scared for either of the two. Jake Locker was once on top of the college football world. I remember thinking, man, Locker might look good in a Browns uniform when he was playing for Washington. Life in the NFL for him has been much different. This season, watching Locker on DVR, his play is disastrous. He's completing 56.4% of his passes.
Brandon Weeden.
He is like a Brandon Weeden numbers. He's got 685 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. But what stands out on film for me, is that too many of his passes arrive late, behind, or at the feet of his targets. Locker's most dangerous asset that I can see is his feet. He likes to take off and run with the ball. He's averaging 6.6 yards per carry in his career running the football. When flustered, Locker makes costly mistakes in the pocket. Locker's problem is a problem that the Browns fans are all used to seeing over the years. He tries to fit balls in tight spaces. See Brandon Weeden for that. And the problem with that is if your accuracy isn't there, see Weeden again, opponents are going to make him pay. And that's what the Browns must do, is bait him into making poor decisions. I see this being a very good game for Tayshaun Gibson, much like I said Gibson in the New Orleans game, where Gibson had the pick of Ruiz. I see Tayshaun Gibson playing center field and having an impact in this game. As we all know, the Locker sat out last week's matchup, and Whitehurst started. And it doesn't matter. Whoever starts, Whitehurst didn't fare any better in the same results. Whoever starts, the Browns need to be aware of errant passes, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a tip drill or two. I talked about this, in the beginning of the segment. The Browns possess familiarity, and Cleveland has a quarterback's coach that was an offense coordinator. They know this offense, so there's no reason why they can't bait Locker. Dawg Bone number 2 is bait Jake Locker.
And I'll tell you what, you brought up Weeden in there. I compare Locker to him very much, man. I mean, again, that's an opportunity to get after a guy who just can't get it, And again, talking about scoring early, that team is just not equipped to come from too far. They're like the Browns in many cases the last few years, where once you're up 13, 14 points, that team just doesn't have what it takes to come back if you continue to play your game against them. I mean, there's a certain style that works for them, and then when you fall behind, they have to get out of so much of what they do that takes away any opportunity there for them to be able to do it. I agree with you on that, absolutely. All right, Dawg Bone number 3.
It's a perfect segue into Dawg Bone number 3, J-Rock. Dawg Bone number 3, one big momentum-changing play I want to see. Just one. One big momentum-changing play. Cleveland can kill exactly what you just said. I'll just word it a little different. Cleveland can kill the psyche of this team by hitting them right in between the eyes. How they can do that is with one big momentum-changing play. It's exactly what all 3 teams did to crush the Titans the last 3 weeks. I went back and watched all 3 of these games. In week 2 against the Cowboys, Titans were trailing by 6. Tony Romo and company converted a huge 3rd and 15 conversion. If the Titans would have got a stop, they were only down by 6, and they had already scored 10 unanswered points. Instead, Romo completes a pass to Des Bryant. They get a first down. Dallas ends up getting a touchdown. and proceeded to take a 23-10 lead. That's a huge swing. After scoring 10 unanswered points, that one play seemed to deflate the Titans and change the Momo. The following week against the Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals used Cincinnati trickery with Mohamed Sanu, who threw across field to Andy Dalton for an 18-yard score. Why was that play significant? Because it ended the first quarter and put the Bengals up 10-0. The Titans were stunned, and the next 5 possessions, J-Rock, they failed to put points on the board. At halftime, it was 19-0. One big momentum-changing play. Last week against the Colts, it was element of surprise that crushed the Titans' spirits and set the tone for luck in the Colts. After taking a 7-0 lead early, the Colts fooled the Titans on an onside kick in the first quarter. Indianapolis took over at the Titans' 44 and put together an 11-play drive that resulted in an Andrew Luck touchdown score. It was 14-0. All 3 of those examples that I'm giving you guys made the Titans play under pressure and from behind. Cleveland must control this game with long drives that result in points. I think that goes without saying. A bunch of 3-and-outs that will allow the Titans to stay in this game. It could be dangerous grounds like I talked about. Sometimes, J-Rock, the most dangerous teams in this league are the ones that have been spanked a few times in a row. Lightly, like Jeff Gorman said, and you said, they're averaging 5 yards a carry. They have 3 capable backs. Bishop, number 1 running back drafted this year. He was the number 1 running back taken. So you cannot take this team lightly. And like you said, Justin Hunter, there were even some rumors, which turned out to be fake, that Justin Hunter was going to be traded for Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But on paper, like I mentioned, you got to love this matchup for Cleveland. I'm going to give you my prediction, J-Rock. I think I'm 0-3, which sucks because I really thought I was going to get the Baltimore game. I'm gonna take the Browns, and I'm right where everybody is score-wise. I'm 24-13 Cleveland. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. It's not. I expect them to win. It's not. Let's try to. Come on, Philly Cundiff, make this 42-yard kick to win it and go home. That's not what this is. It's you go in there and you spank them and you expect to win. You come home with some serious momentum for the Pittsburgh game, and then we go to work during Steelers week.
Let me just
24-13.
24-13. I'm with you, Ryan. Let me just clarify for those of you guys out there that believe all the rumors that they tell you on sports talk radio. I've checked into it. The Browns did make it. They're definitely interested. They still would be. They'd love to acquire a young wide receiver like Justin Hunter. But I love how I don't know who it was, sports talk hosts or whoever decided to attach Crowell to it. The Titans have their rookie back that they just invested a draft pick in that they're going with. Bishop Sankey is their guy. Basically what it was a function of, hey, let's look at who's attractive on the Browns. Ooh, everybody's talking about Crowell right now. Let's add his name to this rumor, and I got a kick out of that there. But speaking of the running backs, to end things there, and I know every season's different, so I'm only going to go so far with this, but keep in mind that it was just last season when Houston took on the Titans. Ben Tate had nearly 100 yards on just 9 carries. He averaged 10.1 yards a carry, 93 yards on 9 carries against against Tennessee when he was with the Houston Texans last year. So keep that in mind. And as a career in 5 games against the Titans, because they played in the same division, Tate averages nearly 7 yards per carry against Tennessee. But I mean, that one I don't really apply too much because different defenses, different players. But enough of that team is the same from last year that he does have some experience running against these guys, so it definitely doesn't hurt to add that into the mix of the top 10 rushing attack that's averaging 133 rushing yards per game, and that's been without Ben Tate. So I think you add him to it, that gives you even more to lean on there. Ryan Ruiz from Dawg Dog Pound Nation. 3 Dawg Bones to victory. Let's see how they worked out this week. We'll see if the Browns do what you say. I'm playing a little walk this way in the background. It's like act as if. Walk the way of a team that you want to be. And a team that you want to be goes to Tennessee and takes care of business early and comes home with the victory. So let's see if the Browns can follow that formula. We all see it. Now they see it, and do they go do it? We'll find out next week. Of course, Steelers are on the horizon. We're not even going to talk about that now, but we will next Friday when you rejoin us.
Yeah, absolutely, J-Rock. We'll get into Steelers week next week, but we take the same theme that Patton's preached all week. It's one game at a time, as cliche as it sounds, and you take care of business this Sunday, and then we'll talk about, the next week. But after that, it's just the next week. We're not talking about these next. When you and I were texting back and forth, I even made the mistake of looking ahead and just saying, man, it's just so possible to win, to be 4-1 or 5-0 in the next. But that's the mindset we got to get out of. We got to just take one game at a time, get back to 500, and then build some momentum for that Pittsburgh game, which, how we played them in Pittsburgh, there's no reason why that can't be a competitive game here in Cleveland.
We've sat here all week and talked about how the Tennessee Titans are one of the worst teams in the NFL. I think people would agree with that thus far. And I'm going to quote Dan Wismar when I say plain and simple, and I will say this on Monday. If you don't win this game, then you're one of the worst teams in the NFL because you just got beat by a team that we have all blatantly called one of the worst teams in the NFL. There's no excuse. There's no, we should have beat them. If you don't beat Tennessee, then you're right there with them. And that's just the reality of how far along the Browns are in this turnaround. We'll get an idea for it this Sunday. Ryan, you have a great time watching the game this week, and we'll catch up on Friday and see where we're at heading into the Steelers game.
You too, J-Rock. We got to get back to Harry Buffalo again so we can do a show, a pregame and a postgame show.
Absolutely. Soon. We got some stuff coming. I'll talk to you more about that. Ryan, you have a good one. And again, you guys can check Ryan out, dogpoundnation.com, right?
Yes, and Ryan P as in Paul, Ruiz 24 is my Twitter handle. At Ryan P. Ruiz 24 is my Twitter handle.
There it is. Ryan Ruiz, beat writer for Dog Pound Nation. He's with us every week with the 3 Dawg Bones to victory. Ryan, have a great week, my man.
All right, J-Rock, take care. Go Browns.
Go Browns. All right, there it is. All set. We're going to take a final break of the day, come back and get you set for the weekend and call it a day. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back.
And now, a very special announcement from the Sports Fix.
Black bears weigh between 200 and 500 pounds. Brown bears weigh between 300 and over 1,000 pounds. Black bears run away from you. Brown bears run at you. When attacked by a bear, simply lie still on the ground and cover your face and head with your hands. When the bear is finished batting you around and mauling you, contact the U.S. Forest Service.
And that was a message from the Sports Fix.
It's the Sports Fix. We'll be right back.
It's just an old ball, really. Nothing more. We grew with it and studied it. We owned it and shared it. We prayed they would hit it and miss it. We prayed they would catch it and drop it. We wanted it to bounce and fly, speed up and slow down. We prayed it would come to us, and we wanted to give it away. We have watched it weather storms and bask in the sun. And it's always right here in our hands. Cleveland Indians, established 1901.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Ohio knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family-friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be